All right, we got some breaking news to react to. DeMeco Ryan's about to speak, about to head up there and talk to DeMeco following the Texans' loss to the Tennessee Titans. But they didn't just lose a game. Per Aaron Wilson, KPRC2, Jalen Pitre will miss some time with the pectoral injury. And again, this according to Aaron. Tom Pelissaro had it probably like 15, 20 minutes later, but Aaron had this one first. I'm going to make fun of him sometimes when he's not first, but he was definitely first. On this. What does this mean? What does the Jalen Pitre injury mean? I think this has been one of the interesting things, and perhaps some of DeMeco's best work this year has been finding a role for Jalen Pitre in which he's really thrived. As a traditional safety last year, he was bad to the point where he had to be benched at certain times. We saw what he did at Baylor, and we saw him early on in his career. DeMeco Ryans basically made a new position, created a new position, a new full-time position for Jalen Pitre. He's made him a nickelback, and he's done a really, really good job in that role. And I actually asked Matt Burke this year, like, what does it look like if Jalen Pitre is not in that role? Is this like a set position? What happens with the void there if that does happen? Like, how exactly does that look if he's not there? And I should have known, because I've actually had this conversation with Jimmie Ward, that Jimmie Ward would potentially be an option. Now, the reason that I didn't think that Jimmie Ward would be an option is because it was a very common, popular topic when Jimmie Ward was brought in by DeMeco Ryans that he did not want to be a nickelback. In fact, he wanted to be a safety. And we asked him about that. He said, it's just my time to play safety. I've done everything else. It's my time to play safety, which is weird, because he was actually on the NFL top 100 list as just a nickelback not too long ago. But we saw Jalen Pitre leave the game, and we saw Jimmie Ward come onto the field. He had 6 tackles, 3 TFLs. He had a pick 6. Jimmie Ward, by the way, in the last 6 games, has as many touchdowns in the second half as the entire Texans offense. So there is that. And Cody Stutes and myself, SNL, which you can hear every morning. You can also subscribe on all podcast platforms. Just type in Stutes and Locker Texans, and it'll get you covered. We're on the scene. Jimmie Ward was asked about that new role by Cody and myself. And here was what he said about it. And I want you to read between the lines and tell me how thrilled he seems about going back to that old nickel role, which was such a polarizing topic when he first arrived in Houston.
Ended up playing some of the reps that it feels like Pitre would have had. Mm-hmm. I know you've done that before, San Francisco. How did you feel like that went? Are you prepared to do that a little bit more if he's gone for a while?
I just gotta do my 111. So whatever the coaches ask for me to try to help this team win, that's what I'm gonna do. I think it went well. I still think about some of the plays that I had, and I'm telling the guys to reset and all that. So, but I did good enough. But no, you know what? Take that back. I didn't do well enough. We lost.
You and DeMeco kind of had a joke about playing nickel, though. Do you feel a little different after going out there and having some success in that role, kind of second half?
Man,
or still safety?
I'm whatever Miko want me to play. You know, he's the head ball coach, so he's gonna put me in position to make plays, and I just gotta make them.
It doesn't seem like he's overly thrilled about playing nickel. But the good news is we go good news, bad news with the news broken by Aaron Wilson that Jalen Pitre is going to miss time with the pectoral injury. How much time, who knows, but he's going to miss time with that injury. The good news is Jimmie Ward has done that at an elite level, and we have a recent sample size of him performing that task well in the Titans game. Potentially the play of the game had the Texans not given up a touchdown on the very next play. But that's the good news. Jimmie Ward has played this role before. Jimmie Ward has succeeded in this role, and we see that he's still capable of that. Now we get to the bad news, though. And this is the bad news, and this is kind of the snowball effect of this whole thing. Jimmie Ward is a better traditional safety, regardless of what you think about him or don't think about him, than Eric Murray. In a perfect scenario, whether it's when Jimmie Ward is hurt or Jalen Pitre is hurt, you don't want Eric Murray playing the majority of the defensive snaps. And Eric Murray, God bless him, when he first came here with BOB, he was looked at as an overpriced, random contract. He's hung around. He's found a role on special teams. and as a reserve safety. But you don't want him as your full-time starting safety. That's not the world you want to be living in. We saw him get mixed yesterday in the game on the long touchdown. And now the reps, the snaps are going to be higher with Jalen Pitre out and with what it looks like Jimmie Ward kind of playing that nickel role. So it feels like offensive coordinators. And I actually think DeMeco did a really good job of kind of hiding Jalen Pitre in coverage as well as Eric Murray all season long. This defense has been elite no matter who's been in and who's been out. It's not like the offense. They produce and they give winning efforts each week. And DeMeco deserves credit with that. Although offensively, there might be a little bit of a blind spot there. And obviously it's not as well coached as the defense. But the bad news is now it seems like opposing offensive coordinators are going to sniff out Eric Murray. And that could be a real problem for DeMeco's defense moving forward. So that's the bad news. There's kind of a snowball effect there with this. So that's really what it means. What it means is we're probably going to see Jimmie Ward in a role that he was once good at, but does not want to be in. And we're going to see a lot more Eric Murray moving forward. So let's keep an eye on that. We'll hear from DeMeco today. Maybe he'll give us some more details. Probably not. He's a little bit strange about injuries. But Jalen Pitre, he's going to miss some time. And that's not great for the Texans, especially when you consider that it appears the defense has to carry the load of that non-existent second half offense. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, be sure to ride along for the best Texans coverage in the country. This has been another edition of The Locker Room on YouTube. Talk to you tonight, 10:30 p.m. daily, the Locker Room night stream. Appreciate you.